Om Vishwam Darpan Drishyamana Nagari Kulyan Nijantargatam Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahiribodhvaitai Yatha Nidraya Yasakshat Kurute Prabodh Samaye Swatmanameva Dvayam Tasmai Shri Guru Muktaye Namahilam Shri Dakshinamurtaye बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपिमः योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahay Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Sadashiva Samaranam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So we are discussing a topic called Vedanta emotional maturity, and Vedanta offers this maturity. One can gain maturity at two levels. First is once the person, when he gains a freedom from likes and dislikes, and that also I explained you, freedom from likes and dislikes is not possible. Freedom from the hold of likes and dislikes. That's the thing. And therefore, that itself creates that Vedanta is impractical. Because you find that not even after study of 30 years, my likes and dislikes are as it is. In fact, they are increased. And therefore, I am not responsible, but the Vedanta is responsible. From the hold. Yeah. So, hold of likes and dislikes, because that is the cause, that's a nucleus for all issues. It could be anxiety, it could be anger, it could be jealousy, it could be fear, it could be pride, it could be competition, unhealthy competition, etc. All. And for that, well, one has to take care of this likes and dislikes. That is the seed. That's the thing we discuss in two classes. And now in this class, we'll see the solution of this. How to at least get, how to get this freedom from this hold of likes and dislikes. How to create, how to gain this with a certain say over our own likes and dislikes. And definitely, Jiva has all this, and it has come all along through our childhood. We have acquired all these likes and dislikes. You see, we have, through the culture, through religion, we have gained all these kinds of likes and dislikes, and so we are not responsible. But the responsibility is to take care of them, at least. And you need a help of Ishvara in this. And therefore, with the help of Ishvara, only we can who is a big psychiatrist, best psychiatrist, he can help us in this psychological problem. And so for that purpose, we have to know who is Ishvara. What is Ishvara is the question, and where is Ishvara is a foolish question. What is Ishvara is the question. And that once I complete, then you will understand that yes, there is Ishvara, that should not be asked. What is Ishvara should be asked. Anyway, so we'll start. So when you see anything, Ishvara will be taken as a cause of creation. That's a creator. Now, when you say creator, definitely what is there here is should be understood as a creation. Then if you say this is a creation, then we should talk about creator. And therefore, this is to be understood as a creation. How will you understand it is creation? For that purpose, we have to say that when you see anything which is meaningfully created, you appreciate at least one fact that there is an intelligent being behind that. Intelligent being, the creator must be there, because it has been put together very meaningfully, intelligently. Intelligently means intelligence means you have knowledge. Knowledge means a conscious being who has this knowledge, and he must be the creator to put the things together. What is put together? Well, it is put together for a certain purpose. Therefore, what is put together with a certain purpose is called creation. And it is, since it is intelligently put together, definitely there must be a conscious being. So this is how we have to introduce. And in that case, let's look at this creation now. Human being creation. First, then we'll go to Ishvara. A car is a creation. Our shirt is basically a creation. House is a creation. Anything intelligently put together will be definitely a creation. And so, in our all creations, which human beings have intelligently put together, including a bullock cart, etc. in those days also is a creation, which is intelligently put together. Of course, our intelligence or knowledge being limited, naturally there is a progression in creation. There is a progression. So year after year, definitely the human minds have come across various issues, and so they modify. Whatever they have created, they modify also. They come up with a solution to overcome those problems. So we trace a certain progress in human creation. Definitely, we trace it. And the progress reveals a certain appreciation, a better understanding of a situation. So, they used to give a example of a Ford Motor Company. And in those days, they say they have some kind of an advertisement in those days. I'm talking about 80s. Maybe they had a advertisement, and that is, have you driven a car? Have you driven a Ford? And the answer they give is lately, means recently, means latest model. What it indicates? What it indicates is, basically that every year they bring out a latest version of that. And I happened to see that museum in Detroit, Ford Museum. And I found 1910 model. It is nothing but a horse carriage. Literally. It's a horse carriage. They began like this. Horse carriage. And of course, doors were not there. In those cars, people used to jump in. And naturally. And then after some time, you find later models, you find that they have put the motor. So it can run. That also without any covering. Then they thought these tires will not work. So they put a pneumatic tires, means with air, etc. And in that also they changed. And like that it continued. They say this Ford was the first person, even he in fact was making cars. Is a tailor-made kind of a thing. In garage, he was making assembly. Making the cars. Later, he put the assembly line for all this making the cars. One after the other, various cars, many cars to make. He put the assembly line. My point is basically, in a human creation, there is always a progression. And sometimes you feel that just to cover or to put the doors, they took many years. Several models, earlier models, were without any doors. So people used to jump in and go out. So that we find it is human being is so slow in understanding or what? We feel like that. But all models are there in that museum. Anyway, so human creation basically is basic, it depends upon his own intelligence, knowledge, and which is limited. And therefore, definitely they produce something in keeping with their intelligence, and they used to bring out a further improvement, possibility of improvement. Anyway, Now, second thing is anything which is put together is not something that the things themselves put themselves together. So the tires were definitely not, do not get themselves produced. So rubber plant basically drops tires. No, they cannot. Rubber plant give rubbers, but you have to make. So every component of that assembly also is again made with the human intelligence. Like even the steel body, etc. in the car, that steel also doesn't come from the mines. From the mines you get iron ore, and from that you have to make the steel. So the components themselves also are made intelligently. Please understand. Components are made intelligently, and those components are put together so that it can serve a certain purpose also with the intelligence. So we have to look upon this car as a creation. The hall also is a creation. Here also things are put together. The fan, mic, everything is basically is a creation which is intelligently made, and including our shirt also. Suppose in my shirt, basically, there are buttons on one side, and other side, suppose there are no button holes. Then we say it is not intelligent creation. So human beings' knowledge, even though whatever the limited knowledge he has, but this is called creation, where things are put together so that it can serve a certain purpose, and definitely requires a intelligence of a conscious being, knowledge of a conscious being, who is called a creator, maker of a given thing. Even animals also have a certain powers, creative power, and instinctive knowledge they have. When especially the weaver's bird, they make that nest. How many things they put together very beautifully, including they make a bed also inside. Beautiful bed also, everything they make. And the bed also maybe should be of a certain material which is very soft. So they used to find out those birds and used to put it. Anyway, that's an instinctive knowledge they also have. So one definitely creates, has adequate knowledge of a thing which is created. But mere knowledge is not enough. You need skills also. Yeah. Knowledge and skills are entirely different thing. Sometimes what happens is you may know something, but you don't have skills to make. You have a knowledge to make, but you don't have skills to make. And I can give you an example. Like they make a huge tower, multi-story building. To make a multi-story building, definitely you require masons, etc. I am talking about India here also. But there you require masons. They will make. They will definitely have a skill to make, but they don't have a knowledge that how much steel should be used in this, and what type of a foundation we have to make it, how much the soil itself is, whether good or not for to make this multi-story building, everything. For that you require a structural engineer, architect, etc. So he has a knowledge, but if you tell him to make, well, other than the knowledge on the paper, he cannot make this building. The mason, if you ask that how much steel will be required to make this, etc., and what type of foundation, etc., well, he will not be able to say. So knowledge and skills are a different thing in a creation. An intelligent being, when we are saying an intelligent being who creates, has knowledge and skills, but definitely sometimes they are different. As one has a knowledge, other conscious being has a skill. Anyway, so skill is necessary, and knowledge of course also is necessary. Sometimes you don't have both. Like a person like us, I want to make a house. Then I don't have knowledge how to create a house. So I hire services of our architect, etc. And I also hire masons, etc. So sometimes you have some other power, but you don't have a skill and knowledge both. You have to buy both. Sometimes you have a skill to make in a given creation. Sometimes you have knowledge to make. Sometimes you might have very few cases where knowledge and skill both are there, definitely. Like our, in the house, women they used to make. They have a knowledge to make a certain dish, and they have skill also. And what happens sometimes is the man really knowing that this is how the given thing is made, But when they start making, they create a mess. And therefore, I in general don't feel bad, but yeah. So they know how in dokla or come on, used to be made. I also know. But if I start making it, then you will say, Swami, please go away. You just teach nothing else. You don't do anything. So knowledge and skills are quite different things. But definitely skills are also in a conscious being. The maker, the creator, knowledge also is in a conscious being. Now further, suppose, there is a clock, suppose it is here. Just think. So you ask me, you ask the question, that, Swami, where did you get this clock? From where did you get this clock? I say, well, there is a place in Switzerland. And between the Alps and there is another, between the two mountains of Alps, there is a valley there. And there are different types of clocks which spring up from the valleys. Well, you see, this Swami is a crazy guy or what? So, why? The clocks, etc., do not come out from the valley as such. It is to be made. It's an assembly which is to be put together. Material, etc., also is again definitely required to be refined, etc. There also you need a conscious being who is intelligent and whose knowledge alone is applied. So you do not find clocks naturally. So just because a holy man tells something, you should not believe it also. There are two things. In our process of thinking, two things are very important. Especially if it is something which is discussed, if it is beyond logic, then you can believe momentarily. You can believe. Because what is beyond logic means if it is beyond logic means it is not illogical. So you can believe for some time. But if it is a given thing which is told to you is against the logic, against reasoning, then you should not believe. If a thing which is told is beyond reason, beyond logic, then you can accept it. You can believe it for some time. But like if I talk to you, let me give you an example. This is to be understood when you study Vedanta. Because that will refine our process of thinking. What happens is, here certain things we tell which is beyond reason. And certain things which we say which is reasonable. Yeah. There is nothing against reason here. And I will tell you that. Veda has two types of subject matter. The first part discusses a subject matter which is beyond reason. Punya Papa. Beyond reason. Beyond reason. You cannot disprove it. You cannot prove it also. It's beyond reason. Because no human being can experience punya or papa at any time. If it is available for perception, etc., then you can say, Swamiji, I don't see, etc. If punya papam has a nature so that you can see, and if you don't see, then you say, Swami, there is not such a thing called punya papam. Swarga, beyond reason. How will you prove Swarga? Swamiji, you cannot prove Swarga. Then you cannot disprove it also. How will you disprove Swarga? It is not there. Please understand what I am saying. Yeah. Then, such a thing which is beyond reason, beyond logic, I can supply some logic in order to make your belief little firm. That's it. That's it I can do. I can give a little reasoning. And that reasoning is, well, you travel to different lokas within one life. Within one life. You die to this world and enter into a new world in a dream. Exactly like this, space, time, and everything. You enter. So if you leave this body momentarily, as though I give up identification and assume a new body and enter into and experience a new world, that proves two things. That definitely the jiva can leave one body and can enter a new body. This is one. And depending upon the type of body, one experiences different type of world in keeping with that world. Would you follow? In keeping with that body. If you have a dream body, you experience dream world. If you have a gross body, you experience gross world. This is a logic. But Swamiji, you have proved? No. I have not proved. Proving means I have to show you this is Swarga. which I cannot do. Could you follow? And if no human being can do, then no human being can deny it also. To deny Swarga is also equally illogical. If you say, Swamiji, you try to prove through logic, well, I say I cannot prove any loka by logic, but I can supply some logic so that your belief can be little, I can make it fun. So please understand, what is beyond logic, because it is pertaining to the Veda, that's how I'm saying this. What is beyond logic, you can believe it, because it is not illogical. Beyond logic means it is not illogical. But what is against logic, means that is illogical, you should not accept it. You should not accept it, you should ask questions. This is the process of thinking we should have when we study. Yeah. Swami, what about your Brahman? Right? What about your Brahman? Your Brahman. Whether Brahman exists or not. Sir, you exist or not. That's enough. If you say I am non-existent, then to say I am non-existent, you should exist or not. That's it. If you exist, Brahman exists. Swami, what kind of a thing you are saying? Upanishad says this. Upanishad says. In Taittiriya Upanishad it is there. Because Brahman is nothing but in the form of the self. And if you say I, if you say I am, right? If you say I am, then that's enough. The Brahman is there. Anyway, so my point is, there is some subject matter which can be supported by our anubhava and our experiences, at the same time logic also. And of course, there is a Shraddha in the Veda, etc. So the Shruti statement also we take it right. And so with the help of the Shruti, with the help of the Yukti, logic, and with the help of our own anubhava, we definitely prove the Brahman is, etc. You have an experience of happiness, and that happiness, the experience of fullness reveals it is Brahman, etc., etc. But anyway, so there are several reasons given. But a thing which is beyond, which is against reasoning should not be taken. And I am coming to that, to the God. Most of the religion say this, and including Hinduism, some part of Hinduism, that God in heaven created this world. Right? And we accept it. God in heaven created. You have to put in, if God in heaven created this world, then who created heaven? Who created heaven? Who asks? Our own children ask sometimes. You say that Bhagavan upar baitha hai, he created everything. Then upar means what? They ask everything. And then you say Bhagavan in the heaven, in Vaikuntha, whatever. The different names are there. Muslims will say Jannat. Christians will say heaven. And in Hinduism they sometimes say Vaikuntha, etc. Well, so he is sitting there and creating everything. Well, and remaining there, he is creating them before he created heaven. So you have to say hell, there are only two things. So if you don't answer, parent don't answer, child will come with your answer. That Papa, I understood. I got the answer, and that the God in hell created this created heaven, and then he got transferred to heaven, and hell he has kept it for all of us. What is this? This is, so when you and God is male, etc. You can think God is formless and God is male. Male is not a form, it's form. But they say God is formless and yet male. This is against logic. Could you follow? This is simple. When you say male means a certain form, then to say formless also is not true. So this thing cannot be accepted. I am not saying against any religion. It is there even in Hinduism also, these kind of things are there. So my point is, we have to ask what is God. Yeah, where is God later? So whenever they say you think of God, immediately they have to come up and say, well, it's a matter to be believed. Including all types of people, they say it is a matter to be believed. Don't question, because this cannot be answered. Before creating heaven, where was he? He was in hell. who created hell, etc., then another problem. And then you say he was in heaven. So there is no answer in this. So even though, let's now discuss. And you will understand, because this is your own experience. Our description of God is within your own experience. So even though the pot maker basically is intelligent enough to make the pots, he cannot definitely make the pots unless he has some material, naturally. Pot maker needs a material, some material. Same way God creates this world, definitely is a maker, creator, but he needs some material in order to create. So from where did he got the material to create this? That's a question. And if he got material, borrowed material from somebody, then somebody should be there before creation. Somebody or anybody cannot be there before creation. Nobody was there. So then how did God got the material for creation? And if God got the material from some other source, then at least there should be some space. Right? There should be some space. Because you think that maker and material are different. Like you see a pot maker and clay. Already space is there. But space itself is a part of creation. Veda says that space itself is a part of creation. The very first element. Tasmadva etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhuta. From this Atma, the Brahman, the first thing which came out is Akasha. So Akasha also was a part of creation. So Akasha also was not there before. In that case, maker and material cannot be separate. Simple. Maker and material cannot be separate. And we know very well that in case of dream also, you are the maker, you are the material. I already told you. It's not maker and material are separate. And second thing also, if maker is separate from material, maker has to depend upon material to create. If raw material is not there, he should say, well, pot maker can say, in a monsoon, when it happens, the pot maker generally has a donkeys, and he takes them to the banks of river and get all this, clay, etc. And if it is not there, well, he will just sit and have this hookah. Nothing else. He can't do anything. So Ishvara also has a material is different from Ishvara. Then he has to depend on that material in order to create the world. In that case, he is not Ishvara. He is like us. Being Ishvara, definitely, material should be non-separate from him. Right? And therefore, he is the maker and material both. If he is maker and material, then whatever you see here is nothing but Ishvara. Could you follow now? In that case, where is he? That question is a wrong question. Where is he? The question does not arise, it should not arise. Where he is not is answer for that. In fact, and because we are searching where is he, that means we have already decided that he is not locally available. Means all that is here is not Ishvara. That reveals that then I don't have clear understanding of what is God. If you ask what is God, you will not ask where is God. If you keep asking where is God, you definitely don't know what is God. That's the thing. So that's how Veda definitely laughs to a person who asks this question, where is God? Like a person in dream is, you pervade totally that person. And he's atheist. He's atheist. You're visualizing a dream person, atheist. And he says there is no God here. He says there is no God. In fact, his whole body is you. His thought is you. His speech is you. Could you follow what I'm saying? While totally being pervaded by you, the Ishvara, that dream person who is atheist says, I don't find God anywhere. In fact, the whole entire dream world is you, the Ishvara. This is how the situation is. So where is God is literally a foolish question. It's a foolish question. Yeah. And that is why most of the religions could not resolve many questions. If God is separate from the world, what is happening here in this world, then where is he? Because so many tragic incidents are happening. And then all these things are happening and he is sitting there and you say he is all compassionate and all. Well, and in that case, all these things is even though he's seeing but not taking care of, is an issue. God cannot be separate from the maker, cannot be separate from this material. Material cause and the efficient cause are one. And that's how in Hinduism they worship Ishvara in both forms, as a father and as a mother, both. As a he and as she. As a maker, he. And as a material, she. We worship Ishwari in Navaratri and all this. We worship Ishvara, we invoke in a she form. Another we invoke as a he form. So all that is there, now come to our emotional maturity, all that is there here, and all laws, including all laws, everything is a manifestation of Ishvara, including the law of dharma, etc. All the laws are manifestation, including gravitation, law and everything. What a physicist study in physics, or you study in physics, is nothing but a study of Ishvara. You study physical creation, right? You study Ishvara. Anyone who studies in psychology is studying Ishvara. Anyone who is studying a biochemistry is studying Ishvara. Because all that is there is Ishvara. That's what it is. And that is the reason why when you gain knowledge of any discipline, either chemistry, biochemistry, physics, that definitely you get a joy. Because between you and Ishvara is in the form of this knowledge, right? In the form of this knowledge. And so when you gain knowledge, you are directly in harmony with the Ishvara. The distance between you and Ishvara was in the form of just ignorance. That goes away. That's how any discipline of knowledge, mathematics, anything, when you study, you get a joy. We never understand why we get a joy when we study. Because the distance between you and Ishvara is as though gone. The distance was in terms of ignorance only. That is gone. The whole dream world is nothing but your own knowledge. There is no material. Your own knowledge manifests in the form of various names and forms. And therefore, please understand, so this is how the Veda describes what is God is to be understood. Then this question, where is God? I don't find any God. Your God, you say it is compassionate, all compassion. He must be very cruel. All this is happening here, this, that, etc. All things is not understood because what is God is not understood. And the example is you are Ishvara for the entire dream creation. Whatever type of creation you create, it is you. You say bad. Somebody, I saw a bad dream today. It's you. Then I am bad dream, I am bad? No. Bad dream is you. You are not bad dream. You are maker. Okay? That's your reality. It has emerged from you, sustained by you and resolved also. It has an existence due to you. It shines due to you. But ultimately, you are the reality. You are not the creation. If you have been converted into a dream world, which is a bad dream world, then you are bad. That's not the case. It's simply a manifestation. Mithya manifestation. Like water manifesting in the form of various waves, or even the clay, etc., manifest in the form of pots, etc. This is Mithya. Just names and forms, appearance. That's it. Nothing more than that. And those names and forms are nothing but the knowledge. Just knowledge. So anything which is put together for a certain purpose, it involves knowledge. Knowledge. And here in this case, where it's Ishvara's knowledge, whatever in our case also it's a knowledge of somebody, right? There's a manifestation of somebody's knowledge. Maker's knowledge. That's how it is. Okay. So therefore, now we will come to this, because I need a Ishvara now, at least to prove. So, life is ultimately meant to discover this fullness, and all our pursuits basically are in our life are for this fullness, or freedom from limitations, freedom from smallness, freedom from being small. And all the time, I struggle to prove myself to be someone desirable, significant, etc., credible in your eyes. I want to see through your eyes that I am somebody. So, please understand. So, we are seeking Ishvara. You are seeking fullness. You are seeking significance. You are seeking Ishvara. Ishvara is fullness, whole. Anyway, So everyone is struggling to be free from this small, limited bound, etc., mortal, etc. So vision of Shastra is that you are already free. And if you think that you are bound, well, that is purely a sense. And that the self is free is to be discovered, and that knowledge calls for a certain preparedness, and that is one should see oneself relatively free. If one sees oneself relatively free, he will definitely be able to understand that I am totally free. One who understands I am totally free, he has already understood partially that I am relatively I am free. That relative freedom is freedom from hold of likes and dislikes. Once you see yourself free from this hold of likes and dislikes, you are enjoying a certain freedom, certain independence, then you are prepared for final stroke that you are totally free. You don't have any limitation of time, place or attributes, etc. And you require to be prepared for that knowledge. I mean, any knowledge requires preparedness. Anyway, so everyone is a bundle of likes and dislikes, etc. And love to fulfill them also is very natural. And for that, you undertake an action. Now we are in a process how to neutralize, how to become free from the hold of likes and dislikes. That is given by Bhagavad Gita itself. Vedanta itself offers a solution. And so I told you that everyone is a bundle of likes and dislikes. To fulfill them also, well, the urge to fulfill them is also natural. And to fulfill them, only one way is to undertake an action. If you want to fulfill, simple words, if I tell you, if you want to fulfill your desire, you have to perform an action. Right? That's the thing. And once you do an action, well, then the result which comes in a fourfold way. Yeah. So, any one of the four can be the possibility in terms of result. You get more than expected, the result. You get as expected. You get less than expected. Or you get contrary to your expectation. I give you an example. Suppose you take a pill, a painkiller, right? You have a headache, suppose, and you take a painkiller. Taking painkiller is an action. It's an action. What karma phala I want? Headache should go. Now here also four possibilities. As your expectation, the headache has gone first. But you had a knee pain also. And this being a pain reliever, it has also helped in your knee pain more than expected. This is more than expected. Less than expected. Headache has gone, but still partially it is there. Less than expected. Contrary to your expectation. Painkillers generally create ulcers sometimes, And so this person took a painkiller. So instead of helping in a headache, well, the whole stomach is ulcerated, contrary to your expectation. All four possibilities are there. Any activity you do in order to fulfill your desire, likes and dislikes, well, result into any undertaking. These four kinds of results are always there, whether you want it or not. You want only expected or more than expected, but other two are also equally possible, equally legitimate. Yeah, why equally legitimate? I will tell you the reason. So when you undertake something, well, we should be prepared for any of these four results. We should be prepared. And the simple reason for that is we are not omniscient and omnipotent. We have a limited knowledge. We have a desire. And we know to get a desired result, this type of activity should be done. But that knowledge is limited. How many factors are involved in that action so that they all combine together to give me a desirable or more than desirable, more than expected? Well, I do not know. All factors I do not know, naturally. And therefore, with my limited knowledge and a limited power, limited skills, I definitely do an action, do an undertaking to fulfill my likes and dislikes, right? And since the knowledge being limited, it can definitely go wrong. you may not get expected result, or you may get less than expected also. That is the reason, simple reason. So, and sometimes we have a knowledge for a given thing and we don't have a power. And I have a knowledge that suppose if I climb a tree, I have a knowledge that if I fall, I will be injured. This much knowledge I have due to law of gravitation, etc. I have this much knowledge. But the power, suppose if I fall, a branch breaks, and then definitely I fall, right? So I don't have a power to save myself from falling. No. Sometimes knowledge you have, but you don't have enough power to save yourself from undesirable. And sometimes knowledge and power both are limited, so that you don't, once you get the result, you see that it is totally undesirable result. So definitely, so still we undertake various actions because we have these likes and dislikes, and as I told you, they are binding. Desire is not for the fun. No desire is for fun. But once the desire arises, generally it wants a fulfillment. And therefore, so we definitely undertake various actions in order to fulfill our likes and dislikes. And this undertaking, as I told you, will produce any of this kind of a result. Bhagavan says if you want to tackle your raga dvesha, the solution he gives in just small sentence. And there are two sentences, but one sentence will take now because of the time will not permit us. And that is Bhagavan said, Samattam Yoga Ujjati. So you should be a yogi in order to tackle your raga dvesha and karma yogi, because you are doing action. So behind an action and behind the result of an action, once you gain a result of an action, you develop a certain attitude. If you develop that attitude, raga dveshas will not bother you. That's it. And that attitude here, which is an attitude towards the result of an action, is called sameness. What is sameness? We have to see. So what does this sameness means? Well, sameness cannot be in action. There are, sameness can never be in action because every action is different from every other. Even Bhagavan has a different actions. He creates, he sustains, he resolves. So action can never be the same. Action is always different from, one action is different from another. Okay, so sameness for action is not possible. Sameness of desire is not possible. Varieties of desires are there. Varieties of likes and dislikes are there. So sameness of desire also is not possible. Then sameness of result also is not possible. Even for the same action, the result is different. When our, in the home, when she cooks, she makes dal and rice. Every day she makes, suppose, same dal, but the taste differs. She says, I added all masalas, same every day as I am adding. But somehow you will see that the result, ultimate result, the dish is different. Same person preparing the pizza again and again. And every time, that's how, when she asked, this time, how are the pizzas? Well, other people say, no, not like, earlier, when she made that, it was so good. She said, I did everything, I took everything, ingredients, all same, everything. No. Sameness of result is not possible. Sameness of desire is not possible. Sameness of action is not possible. Sameness can only be with respect to your attitude towards the result of an action. Sameness of result is not possible. Sameness is possible only in terms of your attitude towards the result of an action. So result is desirable when it is in keeping with my expectation or more than expectation. Result is undesirable when it is less or contrary to my expectation. Sameness towards desirable and undesirable results, is called yoga, karma yoga. If you develop that attitude, any type of result, of course, how you will develop, we'll see that. But if you develop that attitude, any result, more than expected or less than expected, as expected or contrary to expectation, if you develop that attitude of sameness, you are having emotional maturity. That's the thing. Now, how to develop it? That's the thing. That's how we discussed Ishvara. Yeah. So, yoga with respect to action is nothing but simple emotional maturity. A karma yogi is a emotionally mature person. Karmi is not emotionally mature. Karmi means he was doing karma for the sake of fulfillment of raga dvesha. He is definitely, either breeding likes and dislikes, or either his likes and dislikes are bleeding. Either way. But karma yogi is in a process of, he also does the same action, but because of his attitude, he is neutralizing raga dvesha, not breeding or bleeding, etc. Could you follow? Difference between karmi and karma yogi is this. One is in a process of neutralizing and becoming more mature, and one is in the process of remaining immature. same angry fellow, etc., same jealous fellow, same karmi. So that's the difference between them. That difference brings due to yoga. Yoga means an attitude. Attitude is possible both the ways. Attitude behind the action also is there, which I am not going to discuss today. Attitude behind result of an action we are discussing. Samattam yoga uchyate, Bhagavan said, that is with respect to result of an action. Yoga karmasu kaushalam, Bhagavan said, that is with respect to karmas. Karmasu, with respect to karmas also there is a yoga which is kaushalam, etc. That we are not going to discuss today because there is no time also. But both, your attitude behind an action can help you to neutralize raga dvesha. Your attitude behind the result of an action also can help you to neutralize raga dvesha. Either way, you are a karma yogi. Okay, so this is what it is. How you will get this attitude of karma? Sameness. That's a thing we have to see before we conclude. So there is nothing special while being a karma yogi as such. It is expected out of everyone. Because when one is born, one has to grow, not only physically, but emotionally also. And being the limited knowledge and limited power and skills, etc., result will not, you cannot call all the shots. And therefore, you should be prepared for any of the four. It's a common sense. It's the most pragmatic thing. If we are not ready for that, we are impractical people. If they say the Shastra talks about which is something impractical, Shastra talks about something which is practical. If I cannot follow it, I will call Shastra impractical. In fact, I am not able to cope up with that. That's the issue. And Bhagavan talks about this attitude, how to develop attitude in the 47th verse of the second chapter. Karmanya vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetu bhuhu mate sandha asto karmana. Very beautifully, Bhagavan said that karmani eva tav adhikara. Adhikara means you have a choice, privilege. You have a choice with respect to performing an action, but definitely, ma phaleshu. Definitely you don't have a choice in determining the result of an action. So, you can expect, as per your likes and dislikes, you can expect, but you cannot insist that I should all the time get expected or more than expected result. Because that is in my jurisdiction. Bhagavan very clearly said that. So, ma phaleshu indicates that with respect to phalam, with respect to karma phalam, with respect to result of an action, you don't have adhikara, means you don't have a choice. It has been wrongly misinterpreted, it has been misinterpreted in the world that you should keep on doing the things and you should not expect any result. Bhagavan said, no, it's totally wrong. It's not so. Otherwise, person will become pessimistic. It means you do any activity, if result is not in my hand, then all the things are already predetermined. That's how predeterminism has already come in this. Pessimism. Why? Because whatever we do, any effort we are going to put, result is already determined by. Bhagavan himself said that. It's a wrong attitude. You are a contributory factor to the result. If you don't do action, how are you going to get the result? You are the very first contributory factor. But just because you contribute towards the result of an action, well, definitely result should be all the time as per your expectation or more than expectation. No. Well, they give an example of alphabets. Alphabets, I go and tell first alphabet, A. to contribute to in order to make a word. In order to make a word, I tell our first alphabet that please contribute. He said, but I will contribute. But what type of a word you are going to make? That I will decide first. You cannot decide. It all depends upon other factors, other alphabets also, their wish, their choice. If I go to B after asking A has given a consent, okay? And then I go to B. B said, I am not going to contribute. I don't want to contribute. Okay, then you go to C. And you C also say no. Then you go to D. D said, okay. Not just contribution in $100, but $200 contribution. So, double D. You get one word, add. You get a one. So, just because A can always a contributory factor for a word, but A says that I will decide a word. It's too much. It's too much. Because there are, out of other alphabets, who is going to contribute towards a given result, towards a given word, we do not know. In that case, A insistent by the A that I will contribute only when I decide a word, then only I will contribute. That's not correct. Your contribution is equally important. If A is not there, add B cannot make A double D. Could you follow? It will be double D only. So that is how the first is you. Your contribution is required. Just take another example, a live example here itself. Suppose this is happening right now. Right? This camp has happened. It's a result now. It's almost in a conclusion. Here also, suppose if I don't come, Swami, you should have told us before. We could not have come here. Anyway, we enjoyed holidays. Your lectures are there, but otherwise also we enjoyed everything. That's different. So if I am not there, camp cannot happen. If I am there, you all people, suppose for some reason, some natural calamity or something, if you all could not come, then also camp cannot happen. Could you follow? So for me, my contribution towards this camp is very important. But I cannot decide that just because I am contributing to means I am going to take classes, therefore camp must happen. No. It all depends upon your all choices of all of you. Yeah. They say, Yatra Shrotaraha na vidyante, tatra bhakta kim karishyati. Could you follow? Yatra Shrotaraha na vidyante, tatra bhakta kim karishyati. What will the speaker do if the Shrotas are not there? So each of you has contributed. I have also contributed, each of us has contributed, then this thing has happened. So this is very important. And your choice, I cannot determine. It is your choice. I can determine. I mean, with my choice, I can come. But I cannot decide that you must come here. It's all your choice. Please understand. So for me, my contribution towards this camp is called free will. And all of your contribution is called fate for me. For this camp, which has happened because for me, is fate. Because that's not under my free will. Including my choice and others' choice. This is fate. Discussion. Too. That there is nothing called free will in this world. So if free will is not there, if choice is not there, how you have come here? So mechanically you have come, with your choice you have come, etc., etc. Purushartha also is. Anyway, my point is, so there is something called choice with respect to this performing action, but definitely not determining result of action. And I can give an example. Suppose I lift it, I raise this thing. It's in my hand. To raise, not to raise, it is in my hand. To release it or not to release also is in my hand. But once I release it, the result is not in my hand. Could you follow? Once I release it, then the result is shaped by what? Not by me. The result is shaped by a certain condition, which is already existing. And what is that condition? Gravitation law. So under this condition, it will fall. Suppose the same thing is taken to the spaceship. We would have given to our, astronaut. And then they also, suppose they try to fall in that spaceship. Release it. Then it will not fall. It will go sideways, perhaps. I have seen something, things go sideways in there. So, definitely where there is a gravitation, it is gravitation, no gravitation, etc. All is basically determined by who? It's not me. Therefore, it is in my hand to release a given thing. But once it is released, the result of that action of releasing and falling down, that falling down action, falling down is basically not possible. It is not in my hand. Therefore, then what is it? In whose hand it is? In whose hand it is? And I have already told you that the result, of course, of falling down is shaped by a law of gravitation, which is nothing but a manifestation of Ishvara. Would you follow? So, a result is given. The thing has fallen. Releasing it was in your hand, but the thing has fallen. It is not determined by me. It is determined by the law. And the law which is a part of the creation. And that is nothing but Ishvara. So, Ishvara has given the result. In short, Ishvara has given the result. Means whatever result comes to you of your action, of releasing, whatever result has come to you, as given by whom? Ishvara. What comes from Ishvara, we generally say it is called prasada, right? We say prasada. And prasada, as it is given, and I'm concluding faster. There are a few things I would like to tell, but I will not take it. But what comes from Ishvara, we take it as a prasada, and when we take it as a prasada, we have a cheerfulness in our mind. That's called prasada. Prasadastu prasannata. So we have a certain cheerfulness. Even if it is given a one puff rice, or it is given a laddu, in Tirupati laddu. Whatever is given, you take it with, that it is from Ishvara. With the attitude of a cheerfulness. Where there is attitude of cheerfulness, your likes and dislikes are automatically neutralized. You have a sameness. When puff rice also is given, you have a prasannata. When laddu is given, you have a prasannata. Right? Sameness is this. Desirable result, undesirable result. More than expected, as per expectation, less than expected, or contrary to expectation. To do an action, it's in your hand. Of course, there also laws are there, but I don't want to discuss that. There are also natural laws are there. Even to raise this thing is by law. That law is not created by me. So even that also, I can definitely say here also Ishvara is functioning. But since to raise is in my hand, it's my choice. To release it also is in my choice. So I would say it is in my hand. I will keep it that. But once it is released, the result is shaped by the laws present in this creation. And like that, all the laws which shape the result of an action, all the laws of Ishvara, Ishvara is non-separate from the laws, and therefore given by Ishvara alone. And in that case, definitely it is coming from Ishvara. You have certain cheerfulness. When there is a cheerfulness, whatever comes, you accept it with sameness. In that case, your likes and dislikes will not have a scope to make you bothered. If it is not fulfilled, you will feel sorrowful. If it is fulfilled, well, definitely you have a ecstasy, etc. No. So this is how they are neutralized. There is much more in Karma Yoga, but I am giving you a hint here to gain certain maturity in life from your emotional upheavals, etc. Well, what is required is a life of Karma Yoga, a life of activity with a certain attitude, with certain facts of the life. In fact, it also includes the knowledge of Ishvara. It's a fact that everything is Ishvara. It is not there in my vision, but it is there. I have to understand that fact, and I remain alive to the fact. I will be able to accept the fact. The attitude of child, non-acceptance of fact, etc., slowly get erased. Mature person is the one who is aware of the fact and who is alive to the fact. When you are cheerful, you are alive to the fact. And before that, you are aware of the fact. You have gained knowledge of Ishvara. Could you follow? With this, I would conclude this session. But I hint that Vedanta helps you to gain a certain relative maturity, or you can say you gain a relative freedom. There also Vedanta offers a solution by a topic of Karma Yoga, and of course Jnana Yoga is there, which gives you ultimate freedom, where you are mature, where you don't have further scope to grow because you are Brahman. There is nothing more to grow. Once you know you are whole, there is nothing more to grow. So these two stages of maturity are offered by Vedanta. So Vedanta and emotional maturity, that was the topic we discussed. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Excuse me. Can you please wait for a few minutes? We have kids here who have learned simple Guru Stotra, and they want to recite before we do the Guru Dakshina. Okay. So, I invite.
Pranam Swami Ji, and also pranam to all of you. Today in this camp we have learned the Guru Stotram and the first few verses of it. And even some people who haven't said slokas before at all have been able to pronounce these verses. We have Abhir, Ryan, me, Arav, Nikita, and Anisha. Akhanda mandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Avyantimarantasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
The teacher is Vani.
Oh.
Prasannaji, we are ready, right? Yeah, so Swamiji will be here and can come one by one in this way fashion and give a blessing from Swamiji. I think. Anyone needs, yeah.